Brody Michaelis and Dylan Wilson are left embarrassed on Coronation Street next week when James Bailey catches them trying to break into a vehicle. Could the duo find themselves back inside the secure training center? Shifty Carl Webster is strapped for money and needs to pay off Tracy Barlow, who's threatening to reveal his fling with sister-in-law Abby. Determined to make some quick cash, Carl hatches a plan to steal more cars, and he knows exactly which lads to rope in. Carl's no stranger to dodgy dealings, but he prefers to let others get their hands dirty, a Corrie insider shares. He enlists Brody and Dylan, asking them to scope out expensive motors ripe for the taking. With Brody now working at the garage, everything looks set up for success, at least in theory. Elsewhere on the cobbles, Dee-Dee Bailey asks her brother to babysit little Layla while she heads out on a date with Ollie, a client who's become something more. James also has a secret date arranged, but he puts it on hold and agrees to watch the baby, sacrificing his own plans. Later in the week, Brody updates Carl that their scheme is already underway, but not everyone is happy about it. Brody is eager to make Carl a tidy profit, but Dylan's far less sure, the source continues. And who can fault him? It's a risky game, and his fears soon prove valid. As the lads are mid-break-in, James appears and catches them red-handed. The troublesome teen's future now rests with James. Will he turn them in to the police, or could he be convinced to keep their secret? Coronation Street's Tracy McDonald forces a turning point in affair drama. Tracy McDonald took a decisive step in Coronation Street as the secret romance between Abby and Carl Webster grew more complicated. Tracy, who had been casually seeing Carl over the past few months, discovered on Friday, August 22nd, that he was actually involved with his sister-in-law, Abby. The pair had been hiding their relationship from nearly everyone in Weatherfield. With this explosive knowledge, Tracy wasted no time in trying to cash in, demanding money from Abby and Carl in return for keeping quiet. The plot thickened further on Monday, August 25th, when Abby came up with a daring suggestion. She proposed to Carl that they could escape to Germany and start over, reasoning that remaining in Weatherfield would be unfair on Kevin. Although the idea caught Carl off guard, he admitted they would first need to sort things out with Tracy. Abby later met Tracy in the cafe, confessing that while she still cared for Kevin, her heart raced when she was with Carl. She pleaded with Tracy not to make matters worse. Inviting Abby back to her house, Tracy reflected on her own fling with Tommy Orpington, drawing parallels with Abby's situation. However, she admitted her feelings had quickly faded back then and warned that Abby and Carl's relationship was destined to end in disaster. Despite Abby's reluctance, Tracy delivered a harsh ultimatum: either confess to Kevin herself or hand over money to keep the secret buried. Shaken and angry, Abby returned home to tell Carl what had happened. Carl revealed that the fastest way to raise cash was to continue his dodgy car dealings with Fiona. The question now is, will Abby agree to back his criminal scheme, or can they find another way to buy Tracy's silence? Coronation Street teases fresh heartbreak for Jenny ahead of her exit. Jenny Connor faces another emotional blow on Coronation Street next week as she struggles to mend fences with George Shuttleworth. The ex-Rover's landlady is left embarrassed after letting her jealousy get the better of her over George's growing bond with Daisy Midgley's manipulative mum, Christina Boyd. However, when Jenny attempts to apologize, George brushes her off, but could he come to regret ignoring her warning signs? Jenny may not have handled things in the best way, but she isn't wrong to be cautious about Christina, a Corrie insider explains. Unfortunately for Jenny, George is too taken with his new love interest to take notice. Although Jenny tries to clear the air, it's Christina George turns to when he receives a message from his ex, Eileen Grimshaw. The two head out for a drink, leaving Jenny feeling invisible as Christina has George in stitches. It's not only Jenny sounding alarm bells either. George's sister Glenda urges him to be careful with Christina, even letting slip that Jenny has a soft spot for him. Rather than being flattered, George laughs it off. Later in the week, after arranging the funeral of Christina's late partner Dom, George joins her for another drink and confesses he has feelings for her. Christina admits she feels the same, but trouble soon follows when her card is declined, leaving her in tears. This should be a huge warning sign given Christina's past, our source adds. But George might be too blinded by affection to see it. Being the gentleman he is, he's likely to offer financial help, but is Christina planning to exploit his kindness, or are we judging her unfairly? Amy Robbins has reprised her role as Christina after bowing out dramatically earlier this year. Meanwhile, Sally Ann Matthews is preparing to say goodbye to Jenny after a decade in the role. Could her unrequited feelings for George tie into her looming departure? Coronation Street viewers spot same detail as Betsy Swain teased in shocking car crash plot. Coronation Street fans were all saying the same thing after it was revealed that teenager Betsy Swain will be caught up in a car accident with two well-known faces. With autumn fast approaching, the ITV soap is lining up dramatic storylines to heat up September on the cobbles, and the Swain family is firmly in the spotlight. Betsy, her mum, Lisa Swain, and her stepmom, Carla Connor, all take center stage as romance, heartbreak, and danger collide. Carla is determined to try again after her first proposal attempt to Lisa ended in disaster. Earlier in August, viewers saw the underworld boss nervously gearing up to ask the big question at the Rover's return. But when Lisa arrived late, Debbie Webster diverted the conversation toward her own wedding plans. Debbie asked Lisa how her late wife Becky had proposed, prompting Lisa to share the romantic story of an engagement ring in a glass of bubbly. At that exact moment, Glenda Shuttleworth appeared with champagne, leaving Carla's carefully planned proposal in ruins. Now in the new preview clip, Carla vows not to make the same mistake. She even seeks Betsy's blessing, emotionally telling the teen, "I couldn't imagine life without her." But while Carla is full of hope, Lisa seems rattled. In the trailer's final moments, the detective sergeant is visibly shaken by something she's seen or heard, dropping her glass in shock as it shatters on the floor. Meanwhile, trouble is brewing elsewhere for Betsy. In another dramatic scene, she's seen distracted on her phone when a speeding car suddenly approaches from behind. Behind the wheel, none other than Brody Michaelis and Dylan Wilson. The crash is linked to a darker storyline, as Carl Webster, Kevin and Debbie's shady half-brother, ropes the teens into his dodgy car theft scheme. But as the soap has confirmed, their involvement will lead to devastating consequences. Coronation Street continues on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 p.m. on ITV1, with episodes also available on ITVX.